I've got an itch I can't scratch, I'm missing a piece that completes a whole part of me, an open wound scar to see. Everybody come here, gather round, welcome to the freak show, the best in town. What the hell's wrong with me? I don't get along with anybody, honestly. I've been living in my own head constantly, thoughts jumbled round, think I need a new lobotomy. Wait, all these thoughts are too negative. I don't wanna get lost in the sedative. Gotta show them what I got, I'm competitive. You know I'm about to go off, I won't let them win. I'll take a stab, I wanna chase a bag. I wanna weigh, I can change all the things I lack. I gotta face the facts, I got a taste in that. Got me obsessed with the rest, I got an itch to scratch. No way now, I'll give up everything. Daunting thought, if I can see my dreams, I'll make things right. 'Cause I'll do anything to make what I want a reality. Don't let go, don't let go. I'll make things right. 'Cause I'll do anything to make what I want a reality.
I just wanna find a way out, sick of the venom in my brain. Running from the past, wanna escape my pain. I just wanna be a better person, I deserve this. I just wanna break these chains. Always asking for greatness, true to myself, I never fake it. Seen too many once, I just so they get famous. And when I say the truth, most really can't take it. In spite of everything I've been through, I'ma make it. Fake friends, but on my downfall is toxic. Day one, started to outlaws for profit. Now all I do is write verses, no talking. All I do is put the work in, no option. This was everything I ever wanted. Created a legacy off of me, just being honest. And the fake ones hate, but it's all to no avail. They wanna see me lose, but you know I never fail.
I'll give up everything, daunting life. If I can see my dream, make things right. 'Cause I'll do anything, want a reality. No way now, I'll give up everything, daunting life. If I can see my dreams, make things right. 'Cause I'll do anything to make what I want a reality. Don't let go, don't let go. I'll make things right. 'Cause I'll do anything to make what I want a reality.
It's your boy Miguel Z with the Value of Wrestling New Japan Rebound Podcast. I've got a guest for you folks at StocktonCon.
What up, everybody? AJ Kirsch here, the voice and the host of StocktonCon. The value of wrestling is awesome, so subscribe on YouTube. Scan the QR code right here, now. Subscribe, check it out.
There we go.
You'll be glad you did.
Thank you, brother.
Yeah, that's what. Hey, man, shout out to Value of Wrestling. I'm right here with the Big O's, San Jose. We gonna shut the shit down. Love and respect, all right? Value of Wrestling. Hello.
Man, thank you, brother. Thank
It's the Value Wrestling. I'm the big time Mr. Z. We're here with the indie god himself, Matt Cardona. This is real. The Choppy Choppy is about to go down. Let's see it. Oh.
This guy just paid me $50. Matt Cardona, check out the Value of Wrestling.
Cool. Oh, we are back. We are live right here with the Value of Wrestling, right here with your weekly Roundup podcast, right here on your Sunday evening. We thank you for joining us. We thank you for taking time out of your busy day to be here, and we are ready to party la-di-da-di. Unfortunately, we're going to touch on some quick news before we get started. First, I do owe an apology or a correction to a story we talked about last night. It looks like the security issue was not between Malachi Black and Sammy Guevara. It doesn't look like they had any incident at all. That news was exaggerated. This was between a AEW star and a producer backstage. There was a small conflict, but the issue was resolved, and we moved forward. So just to make sure we clarify that news first off. And, of course, tonight, in remembrance, since he won't be joining us, ladies and gentlemen, there'll be no Clark report, as Mr. Clark has not been available to join us tonight. We wish him the well and hope that he recovers and gets better real soon. So, if you feel like you're going to miss your Clark report tonight, I do apologize. Welcome to the show, Stephanie. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for being a part of tonight's show. And we are going to get started, la-di-da-di, if everything will start to party. Hopefully everything will pick up.
Starting to party.
Anyways,
that started last night.
Anyways, I am the big time, and I'm here alongside Mr. Z, the choppy champion of the world at the moment. Yes, ladies and gentlemen. We're coming off a wild night of AEW All Out, where they went all out, no doubt about it. And we're going to have to see how that goes.
Hi, guys.
Okay, let's get everything caught up here so everything looks like it's running naturally. What's up, Callie? Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Thank you for being here. We got a lot to go down, a lot to be excited about. And we're going to discuss all the news and all the fallout from everything. Head still spinning, head still turning. But we're going to talk about some news here. Let's start off with, it looks like Swerve Strickland and MJF are going to be taking some time off after AEW All Out. They are going to go on hiatus. Where are they going to go? How long they're going to be gone? We do not know, but they were going to be out of action for the time being. So we'll have to see what the world does in AEW without Swerve Strickland after he got brutally beaten in his own right by Hangman Adam Page. But, yeah. AEW all over the news after last night's event. There was a announcement here coming from Ringside News. AEW changed plans for All Out 2024 match. All Out delivered a packed card, including a much-anticipated match between MJF and Daniel Garcia. While the bout had fans on the edge of their seats, it seems the original plans for this encounter were altered. In the end, MJF secured victory over Daniel Garcia after delivering a low blow followed by a pinfall. Despite the loss, Garcia got the last word in the post-match segment by hitting a power driver from the top rope on MJF, who already suffered from a neck injury. And, of course, the story of last night was it was either over-the-top extreme or everybody was injured, and we were working to further injure people. Reports from wrestling purist Dave Meltzer of the Wrestling Observer Radio suggest that Daniel Garcia was originally supposed to win the match clean. This changed plans was allegedly due to Garcia's unresolved contract situation with AEW. Garcia's contract is reportedly set to expire in October this year, while WWE is rumored to believe that Garcia may have already signed or secured a lucrative deal with AEW. Nothing has been confirmed. Uncertainty around Garcia's future has fans speculating whether or not he will resign with AEW or if he will do his best in his future endeavors going somewhere else. So this may have been why MJF won the way he did over Garcia in a good in-ring match, but the ending was kind of left for something open. I don't know if they're going to continue this feud. I don't know if I want to see this feud continue. But that is one thing that changed about AEW last night before this show got started.
Well, you got to think, a lot of people are hoping Garcia leaves at this point.
I think he'd be over in a NXT quick, fast, in a hurry. I mean, look what they've already done with all ego Ethan Page.
Yes. Pillman Jr., great guy at this point.
King,
I mean, yeah. And I mean, even stars from overseas. I mean, they've got Julie already looking like $1 million.
Yes, and she's going to have a match here coming up against Chelsea Green.
Yeah, like, I call that reasonable presentation for these guys. If that's not a reason to go ahead and be like, Tony, you can't throw me enough money to stay and ruin what's left of my wrestling resume.
Thank God the fans can hear you because you're a giant blur on the screen now.
Uh-oh. Oh, thank you, AT&T.
Yes. Anyways, we're going to move along. AEW star allegedly calls out Tony Khan over rejected spots that still made its way into All Out. Ringside News reports AEW All Out delivered plenty of exciting matches and jaw-dropping moments. Yes, I would say that. One of the standing stories was the internal conflict with the Blackpool Combat Club leading to its apparent implosion. However, it appears Tony Khan seems to have been called out by an AEW star for previously rejecting dangerous spots that ended up taking place at AEW All Out this week. During Danielson's AEW World Title defense against Jack Perry, Danielson delivered a devastating Buzaika knee, but it wasn't enough to secure the win. Beating off the energy from the crowd, Danielson hit another Buzaika knee, finally clinching the victory and retaining the AEW World Championship at All Out, and a match that was easily told how that was going to go. After the match, Luchasaurus, or Killswitch as he's known now, came out blindsided Danielson from the back. There was a brief moment between Killswitch and Jungle Boy Jack Perry as they stared each other down. Old friends, both heels now staring each other down. This led to the Christian and the Patriarchy coming down the ringside before they were stopped by Moxley and then Claudio Castagnoli, Pac, and Wheeler Yuta. The Patriarchy turned tail and left ringside area, leaving Moxley and the BCC alone in the ring to celebrate with Daniels as Moxley hugged Danielson and then walked away as Claudio Castagnoli, Wheeler Yuta, and Pac all seemed to raise hands and celebrate with Danielson. Briefly, Moxley gave a nod to Claudio Castagnoli before Claudio Castagnoli knocked Danielson on his butt with a European uppercut. Then we saw Marina Shafir come into the ring. And from there, it went untamed as Moxley pulls out a plastic bag and covers the head of Danielson and starts suffocating him while Pac holds back a screaming and crying Yuta. Maria Shafir joins in, leaving Danielson laying helplessly on the mat, leading to the crowds to chant loudly, clearly, "This is murder." So who took to Instagram in a tirade of his own sort, somebody we haven't seen on AEW TV in a long, long while, somebody who wanted to do the spot originally, but Tony Khan told him no, it was too dangerous. Yes, your favorite and my favorite. Eddie Kingston took to Instagram, simply uploading an image that pointed out the fact that Tony Khan previously rejected his request for the dangerous spot that ended up taking place at All Out, including the infamous plastic bag spot. It's also depicted a chair shot as well as gasoline with the matchstick, making it clear he had already proposed these ideas, but rejected. Kingston seemingly called out Khan over the fact, quoting, "I'm just going to leave this here." Kingston underwent surgery for his leg injury and is expected to be out of action until next year. Therefore, we'll have to wait and see what AEW will have planned for Kingston upon his return. Yes, Kingston went on his Instagram and posted a picture of what looks like himself talking to Tony Khan with an image over his head of a chair, gasoline with a match, and a plastic bag, and Tony Khan told him no. And so as Eddie Kingston is hanging out at home, nursing a leg injury, it looks like Tony Khan is taking all of his wild, crazy spots. So Eddie Kingston not happy.
No, and that's very. I want to say it's different here, and Eddie being displeased about something because he's been nothing but praises with AEW because of what they've done for him over the time that he's been there.
Yeah,
but Eddie Kingston not pleased. I mean, is he looking for a way out himself? I guess we'll have to see when he gets back.
It's going to be interesting. He's giving these ideas. They're not doing it with him, but they want to do it with other people in unnecessary moments at that, too. So.
Well, I mean, you could sit there and see. I mean, I want to say it'd be a case-by-case thing. If Eddie Kingston does it, I mean, 90% of the time, we don't know if he's working or shooting.
Yes.
So that could be a reason why.
Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show. Please feel free to join in the chat, join in the conversation. Tell us what you think of everything we talk about tonight. Eddie Kingston seems to be upset. We'll have to see how that plays out. AEW has been criticized for controversial hypodermic needle spot at All Out 2024. If you didn't think Bryan Danielson being choked out with a plastic bag was extreme enough, yes, at one point, Hangman pulled the grill out of Swerve's mouth and then injected him with a hypodermic needle into the cheek before bashing him in with a definitely gimmick chair, but still another chair shot. Something I don't think we need to see much of.
Mm-hmm.
Looks like we're doing okay. Anyways,
yeah.
At All Out, Swerve Strickland and Adam Page faced off in a punishing lights out steel cage match that quickly escalated. The fight began with intense action even before the cage was fully set up. Prince Nana contributed to the chaos by throwing tables in the ring while Strickland used the cage to assault Page. The match saw both wrestlers introduce various weapons, including a staple gun, which Page used until Strickland took control, even using the staple photo of Page's family to his chest. The bout was marked by significant violence with both competitors bleeding and enduring severe blows. Strickland sent Page crashing through a table, but Page responded with a powerful dead eye. The match reached a brutal climax when Page executed a powerbomb onto a cinder block, which wasn't gimmick, causing Strickland to land directly on it. Strickland's aggression continued as he stabbed Page in the head with a piece of burnt wood that was supposed to be part of Strickland's childhood home. The match ended with a decisive chair shot from Page, securing the win. Strickland was left seriously injured and needed immediate medical attention. Jonathan Coachman took to Twitter and heavily criticized AEW's decision to use a hypodermic needle in the steel cage match between Adam Page and Swerve Strickland. And I quote, and this is what the coach said on on X, he went on to say that needle bit was some of the worst things I have seen in a long time, and anyone defending is simply blindly loyal, which shows me that everything I get on here is you're a WWE mark. All you do is kiss Triple H's ass. Well, you clearly never watch Behind the Buckle, because we are far from WWE's mouthpiece. We talk about pro wrestling today. It's about how badly AEW is trying to make headlines, and these are the wrong ones. My goodness, it was one awful decision after another. Last one for me. On to the NFL today and something positive. So the coach coming out and calling out the severity of what AEW is doing and talking about how they are just trying to do flash in the pan, headline catching moments to get attention, and it's not going to be the right attention.
Well, according to people on X right now, we were too soft because we didn't like what AEW has presented to us last night or the night before, whatever it was. They said it's a big boy only conversation. We can't keep talking about him.
Yes, no, it's crazy. Coach did go on further to say, dumb, 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 dumb. We have learned nothing in the last 20 years. Someone needs to talk to Sorb and let him know that this is unnecessary. So many spots last night that screen. Watch me, please. We do crazy shit. Just so unnecessary to put your long-term health in danger.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and that has a danger. I don't care if you're trying to score a TV deal or increase viewership. Damn, Tony Khan, protect your people from themselves. Jimmy Corderas responded to the coach saying a real boss would do just that, coach. Protect the talent from themselves. Also, what a locker room leader would do. Someone needs to step up and stop the inmates from running the asylum, which is exactly what CM Punk was trying to do before he got lambasted and shoved out the door. So Jimmy Corderas, the coach,
Isn't that what anyone's trying to?
Yeah.
Because that's exactly what's going on, and you know, we don't get me wrong, and don't take this as like I'm a big fan of hardcore. I do enjoy it, but it has to make sense. Make it make sense.
Well, it doesn't need to be to the severity level that we saw
Last
this
night,
match. And it was again, we had
no sense.
We had the choking out of Bryan Danielson with a plastic bag. We basically had murder on TV, and we're supposed to believe. I mean, what if you're choking somebody out with a bag? We're supposed to believe this is murder. I get that. You know, you might see this on a TV show, but there is some real elements to wrestling where it's not necessarily all acting, but to really choke somebody out with a plastic bag. Though he stopped and Bryan Danielson will be fine, it's still what was the point and what do we? Yeah, you just can't. And then we go into this match where everything was just over the top insanity.
Right, but here's what I'm taking. Here's what I'm saying. If it wasn't so bad and people are saying all this stuff, why did AEW take down the footage? Why did they take down the highlight of the mob hit?
Yeah, if AEW was full support of this and Tony Khan gave his blessing to this, why are they taking it down and hiding it? We thank everybody for being here. If you're here watching this show, please let us know that you're hearing us and seeing us and that we're looking great. Join in the chat, join the conversation. Tell us what you think about AEW All Out from last night, the shenanigans, and the complete chaos that came out of it.
Yeah, like I said, it's so bad, and everyone's defending it. They're saying like it was the greatest thing ever. No, it's not, because it just didn't make any sense.
Yeah, no,
I understand a lights out match and the theory of a lights out match.
Yes. The theory.
This was just garbage.
Not a
and before everyone sits there and before anyone starts saying, well, look what GCW does. GCW does it, but it makes sense. They have hardcore matches, but they don't do it all the time. Nick Gage does it in small doses. Matt Cardona does it in small doses. Matt Cardona, you're still the man in our book. Thank you again, sir, for chopping me. But
do it again.
The women do it in. There you go. The women do it in small doses. Last night, the who was it that got kicked in the back of the head real bad? Willow Nightingale.
Well,
taking
Nightingale
that
took a
spot.
nasty kick to the back of the head as Chris Statlander came off the top ropes to the outside in a swanton type of maneuver. While Willow Nightingale was laying out on the table, Nightingale got off the table. Statlander crashed to the table, but in the same maneuver, her foot caught the top of Willow Nightingale's head, and that could have been a severe concussion right there in itself.
I don't know, but that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't understand. We can't be logical and explain these like, hey, look, this didn't make any sense to us. And it's not in a bad way. It's just saying, why didn't it make sense? And we're getting attacked by the fans that are like pro Tony, and yes, we love the snowman. It's like, we're just letting you know it didn't make any sense.
Yeah, no, it was it was too much in one night, and it was too much back to back. It was just too much back to back.
Yeah, man.
After a 0 hour that had 25 people on that 0 hour in that last hour with 4 matches, multi-person matches, it was overwhelming. Then we jumped in the card with a decent MJF Daniel Garcia match, which went in an interesting way, which really didn't help escalate anybody. Then we had a tag team title match that really was pointless since the Young Bucks retained the titles, and later on Claudio Castagnoli would turn on Wheeler Yuta. And now the world has to decide what's going to happen with the trio titles now that the Blackpool Comic Club is imploded in its own right. Claudio Castagnoli, Wheeler Yuta, and Pac are the trios champions, but last night Claudio Castagnoli and Pac aligned themselves with Moxley and Maria Shafir as they walked out and turned their backs on Daniel Bryan and held back Wheeler Yuta, as Wheeler Yuta was not on the inside, unless this is a swerve and Wheeler Yuta's going to play the, oh, wait, no, and then he's going to eventually turn on Bryan Danielson down the road, or I don't know how this is all going to go. I guess we're going to have to wait for...
How old is that gimmick?
Well, and another thing about All Outs is pointed out, a lot of the matches were the same story. A lot of the AEW pay-per-views are the same story. I mean, you had all the people with the injuries that were wrestling these matches with these injuries, and a lot of them dropping on the back of the neck, dropping nearly on the head. These constant injury storylines that are just the same. We had 3 or 4 extreme hardcore moments in last night's show that were all the same. We have a lot of the Spot Monkey shows, and I know a lot of people are big. Will Ospreay and Pac match was great. But again, Will Ospreay is becoming a repetitive spot monkey in its own right because it's the same stuff over and over again without doing something different, something fresh. And the more they show Will Ospreay, see what made Will Ospreay great in Japan, didn't see him as often as you do in AEW. And now that he's on AEW almost weekly in some form or faction, it's like it's nothing new. It's like the Young Bucks. The Young Bucks got worn out real quick as tag team champions. It's the same Young Bucks match as it is every single time.
Yeah. Oh, I was gonna say, you weren't impressed. I mean, Okada's still wearing different gear. I mean,
he's only changed his gear once. Freak Okada. Okada went from a legend in. Thank you, Stephanie, and thank you for becoming a subscriber tonight. We appreciate you. You are always keeping up the good work, and we're growing.
Thank you.
We've got a lot of surprises for this weekend when we go to Supreme Pro Wrestling in Elk Grove, California. We're going to get into that in a little bit. But people, hello,
Logan,
what's up,
hello,
Logan?
Sir.
But yeah, AEW, all out AEW. I guess a lot of this we're gonna have to find out what's gonna happen with the Fallout on Wednesday, as it's been announced. Bryan Danielson's gonna be there with a reaction. A man that got choked out with a plastic bag is now recovered. Is gonna be on TV to react to the turning. A lot of speculation. Is Moxley and Claudio Castagnoli, is this group a part of the elite now? Is this what the Young Bucks went to do to extremes to take over? Because we still have this idea. Moxley made the statement, this is no longer your company. It's going to take a moment for everybody to get their head wrapped around it. What does this mean? Does this lead to Shane McMahon? There was people trying to make rumors that Vince McMahon was meeting with Tony Khan yesterday. Wild stuff. But some of the matches were good at All Out. Some of it was just too much.
What's the deal with Redacted? Seriously.
I guess it's all about how you drink that cup of tea. And, of course, Redacted's Netflix documentary comes out at the end of the month. That should be an interesting watch. I believe it's a 6 1-hour episodic show, so it's going to be 6 episodes, each an hour long, covering the rise and the fall of Vincent Kennedy McMahon. So it should be an interesting watch. It has nothing to do with Vince is in it. A lot of people from WWE and other aspects are in it, but
Right.
That could very well be Logan. That could very well be Shane McMahon could be a part of this new group. I don't know if it'll be the Blackpool Combat Club anymore. We'll have to wait and see.
Yeah.
But the rise of all Vince McMahon has nothing to do with Vince. Doesn't have anything to further do with WWE as they backed out of it. This documentary seemed to take a different way. They did do interviews with Vince and many people, but it does not have affiliation with the WWE. So it should be an interesting match.
Did they catch old Vinnie Mac on an island somewhere? I mean, just want to know.
Anyways, it is Sunday, September 8th, which means tomorrow is Monday, September 9th, which means we get the first episode of this long-rated WWE on USA Network as SmackDown makes its season's premiere on the USA, or the return to the USA Network. It is the season premiere of Raw on the USA Network, and NXT will air Tuesday before it goes to CW next month. So it'll be interesting. And tomorrow night, we have the fatal four-way match for the number one contender spot for the Intercontinental Champion as Jey Uso will take on Braun Strowman, Ilya Dragunov, and Pete Dunne. The WWE Women's Tag Team titles will be on the line as Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill will defend their titles against the former champions, the unholy union of Alpha Fire and Isla Dawn, and a eight-person street fight. The Wyatt Six of Dexter Lumis, Joe Gacy, Eric Rowan, and Nikki Cross will take on American Maids. American made. American males. Anyways, they will take on American Made, Julius Creed, Brutus Creed, Chad Gable, and Ivy Nile. Bret Hart will also be on the show tomorrow night, making his return to the WWE after a while. I think the last time we saw Bret Hart, he was on AEW. And Dominic Mysterio will be taking on Dragon Lee tomorrow. So that is what you got coming up tomorrow night on Monday Night Raw.
Sounds like an eventful 3 hours.
Yeah, it will be. Matt Hardy addresses potential WWE return for him and Jeff. And I quote, "We are both very, very happy. We're extremely happy with how TNA is going right now. We're going to be continuing this for a while. We just actually talked about some creative stuff going through the end of this year right now. That's very exciting. We did what we have. As far as going to WWE or AEW, it's a never say never scenario in my world. In the extreme life of Matt Hardy, it's a never say never. You never rule out anything. You never close any doors on anything. You do your best. You keep your chin up. You keep moving forward and try to speak as honestly and as transparently as possible. It's one of those things. If we end up back in AEW to do something, we wouldn't be opposed to that, especially if it's something that sounds really, really good that we were very intrigued by. With WWE, there's still been some ongoing conversations with WWE, so anything can happen in the extreme life of Matt Hardy. It could be very interesting to see what happens if Matt and Jeff return to WWE. If they're tied up for the rest of the year with TNA, maybe they return at the Royal Rumble. Should be an exciting time to see the Hardy Boys return.
Definitely. Matt Hardy alone on any media platform, just going out to the store with his family is eventful. It's enjoyable to watch. He's a character in his own, so I'll take that. If they can come back and do a one-off, I'm all for it.
Tony Khan, the scrum was cut short, but Tony Khan did say on the scrum last night that he believes that AEW will continue to be on TBS and TNT in the near future. He just hasn't put pen to paper. Leaves it very open. Why are these TV talks still going on? What is going on with all these TV talks? You'd think something would be.
I was wondering about that. Like, what?
It's a very.
Is there really a deal?
Scenario. I don't know. It's kind of everything is up in the air. We are waiting to see what's going to come together and how it will come together. But Tony Khan proclaiming that AEW will be on TBS, TNT for the far future. But I guess we're still kind of waiting to see. Glenn Gilberti takes to X and says nobody in the decision-making process thought suffocating someone was a bad idea to be included into professional wrestling program. And needless to what audience was this directed to? And that makes a good point.
Yeah.
And everybody coming out from Brody King himself saying the sickos, BITCH. And Grim of Grimm's Choice Show at GTS Wrestling says it's for the sickos. Man, relax. Which you could. We could all relax and we could all just accept it. But if it's for the sickos, that's such a small minority of the larger wrestling population. I mean, who out there's watching their
proud of this?
If you're a fan of wrestling,
the fans were proud of this.
If you're a fan of wrestling, if you're an adult who has kids and you love wrestling, you're trying to show your kids this wrestling. Are you letting them really watch this type of stuff? Is this the type of stuff that you want to turn your kids onto? Is this the type of stuff you want your kids mimicking in the backyard, front yard, or even at school? I mean, how long? The DX shop was one thing at school, but how long before somebody takes a plastic bag and puts it over somebody else's face at school because they saw it on wrestling? Whether wrestling says don't try this home or not, we still all know that wrestling gets transplayed at home. Everybody wants to act out wrestling. It's like every karate and everything else. Now, as parents, you're going to try your best to say, kids, don't do it. It's not safe, and try to explain it to your kids. But there's always that one. So people are not going to let their kids watch it.
No, it's like, I'm guilty of it. I used to sit there, you wrestle with your buddies out in the front yard, taking sheets to the head. I mean, but not a plastic bag. Seriously.
No. And not hypodermic needles. I mean, in the day and age we're in with hypodermic needles and the number of wrestlers that have lost due to drug abuse, I mean, I don't know if anybody looks at it that way and takes any disdain that we're using a hypodermic needle with some of the biggest names of professional wrestling that have died due to drug overdoses that just break your heart. I mean, does anybody think, there might be some tastelessness in there? There might just be some levels of a feeling of disrespect, Yeah.
And he doesn't think.
It was almost pointless because and then if you're telling me there was some type of knockout that, there was some type of stuff in that hypodermic needle that I don't know. I didn't really pay attention that close to it because it was just kind of happened so quickly.
Yeah.
If there was something in that hypodermic needle that went into the cheek to help numb or put word out, again.
Is this okay?
Does this not somewhat just throw shade on people that have some of the greatest wrestling names that have passed away due to drug addiction? And it's sad because some of the great names, and it's their own fault, but I mean, I don't know if this is the right play.
It's like, I've been accused, people have accused, and they're harping on, Ice Cube's son was like, "Oh, you didn't watch wrestling in before the 2000s, maybe that's why you didn't like it." And that's not the point. Shock value for shock value's sake was one thing in the 90s and in the Attitude Era. It didn't happen all the time. Pillman's Got a Gun didn't happen all the time. It happened one time and it was done. But all this stuff that they did last night, it just was tasteless. And Punk was right. The inmates are running the asylum.
Well, and it goes to this point that shock value for shock value is not the greatest thing. And why, people are saying, oh, WWE and their PG era, they don't do this stuff. And everybody's upset because it's not WWE. And I'm going, but WWE only does it when it has a value to the content or is going to add that moment to get people to talk about it. They don't do it constantly. They don't do it every pay-per-view. And they don't do it in back-to-back scenarios. I mean, we went from a man being choked out with a plastic bag to a man injecting another man with a hypodermic needle into the cheek and then bashing unprotectedly across the head. Regardless if the chair was gimmick or not, you still have to go, is that necessary? Is the risk worth the reward? Is this drawing more people to attendance? Is this drawing more people to your product? Or is this truly turning more people away? AEW is definitely on a downhill spiral. It's being shown time and time or not by their attendance or numbers. I mean, they didn't sell out Wimbledon this year. They didn't hit that record-breaking number that they did last year. All Out was even lower than last year. It's, when do you say What is
And before you folks go and keep harping on me when we talk about what's coming to California when AEW comes out here and how it's only it's only a couple months out and blah blah blah. No, the Stockton Arena only holds 10,000 people. They are asking for a little less than 3. It's like going to an unwanted concert.
well, and they're starting ticket prices at just a little under $200. I think cheapest tickets we saw was like $189. In the upper bowl, and they've got most of it tarped off. You can't buy tickets on the hard camera side and the upper arena.
Oh, of course.
In California, in Stockton, in that area, there's not. I mean, there's a lot of people that are probably going to come over from the Bay Area, and there's a group of people, but the majority of people in the area do not have $100 or $200 or $300 or $400, $500, $600. I think the highest tickets were selling at $800, and you have to look at it. Who has $800? And again, it's not just $800 that you're spending on one ticket, because most people are going to go with a friend, a peer, a buddy. You're looking at people probably spending a lot of money on tickets for a show. And this is a collision show that barely is being watched, and a battle of the belts just cause. And no matches announced, and it's just like you're overpriced.
Well, and then they're doing what? They're doing Dynamite in San Jose.
Yeah. Well, San Jose is going to be Dynamite. Stockton's going to be Collision and the Battle of the Belts. So that's all happening in the same week. Next, it's a little more than a month away. And again, yes, WWE is priced out some places too that are a little ridiculous. So I know it's not just AEW, but WWE has a little more ground, and they sell the tickets a little better. But they also opened up those higher seats that you can get those cheaper tickets. AEW's not even offering those cheaper tickets. When you're looking at a $200 investment to walk in the door for one person, and nobody really goes to wrestling by themselves. It's usually a family event where you're going with buddies. So I mean, I don't know. AEW looking
and the merch table, not all that great. Just so you know, the merch table's not all that great either.
They've never recovered with their merch. It's always kind of been the same thing with their merch. AEW is definitely in its own place. Yes. So, Raw, we heard about that. NXT this week, we should have Chelsea Green in the debut of Julia, as she will take on Chelsea Green on NXT. SmackDown having its return to the USA Network for the first time in a while now. They're going to have some great matches. We got to see, because Solo Sikoa and Cody Rhodes are going to lock it up in a steel cage match. And I know a lot of people are calling, after last night's steel cage matches, that WWE and Cody Rhodes and Solo Sikoa are going to up their game. No, they're not. Solo Sikoa and Cody Rhodes need to go have a good wrestling match in a steel cage, but they don't need the violence. They need to stay in their PG lane. They need to do what's best for WWE, and they need to do what's best for the audience.
Yes.
They retain. They don't need to elevate it just because AEW brings out the sickos to watch their competition.
No, they're going to go in there. They're going to have a steel cage match that's attended to a story that's been going on, a story that is great right now, and the fans are going to love it.
Yes.
There's going to be no complaints at this one.
We shall see how this week goes. It's going to be a busy week in that section. Of course, you can be here on Tuesdays, or you can go to Patreon Tuesdays when the New Japan Pro Wrestling Rebound podcast comes at you live. And then every Wednesday, it'll be live here on YouTube. But we're going to dive into it right now, and we're going to get the sample with Mr. Z and about what's going to go down with New Japan Pro Wrestling this week. What do you got for us, buddy?
All right, so we started Road to Destruction 2024. Not much. A lot of tag team matches going on for this one. One of the big ones one of the bigger matches coming out of this was Gabe Kidd, Jake Lee. They're deeming themselves the Mad Bastards now. So they are on a tear. They've defeated Tomoaki Honma and Tomohiro Ishii. For you AEW fans, the Stone Pitbull picked up another loss. But at least this one made sense. The next event, they celebrated Shingo Takagi's 20th anniversary, his debut anniversary. The main event of that match was LIJ versus LIJ, where Shingo Takagi picked up a big win against his fellow brethren of Los Increíbles de Japón. Beautiful match. I mean, anytime you see Tetsuya Naito in there with his brethren, whether against him or with him, it's always a good thing. And then, folks, night 2 of Destruction. I'm only going to talk about one match because you brought him up earlier, the tree stump, the learning bush, whatever you want to call him, the Cobb salad. Time limit draw with Yota Tsuji. These are all the events that are going on. There is going to be one more tonight that I will add on to Tuesday's show, but you'll have to tune in Tuesday to get the results of that one, folks.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are proud to announce that there'll be a new show coming to the Value of Wrestling right here on YouTube in the near future, as we are going to bring you New Japan Pro Wrestling Deep Dive, where Mr. Z is going to dive into some of the talent stories and the history of New Japan Pro Wrestling, bringing you historic knowledge and facts about New Japan Pro Wrestling. So be ready, because soon enough you're going to see New Japan Pro Wrestling Deep Dive, where Mr. Z is going to sit down and take you on a deep dive into New Japan Pro Wrestling.
Well, I mean, what? I just did one recently of GOD, Girls of Destiny. I mean, there was a lot of knowledge there.
Yep, and now we're going to make it an official show here on the channel that will air maybe once a month, depending on how Mr. Z feels. But we're going to get that show hopefully out to you soon. We're going to have a whole new...
Well, coming up on... Well, since Wrestle Kingdom's coming up and Tetsuya Naito is on his way out and finishing up his career, from what I've heard, that might be the first show when we kick it off. I might kick it off with that. We'll talk about the legend of El Destino himself.
There you go. Deep dives, the New Japan Pro Wrestling Deep Dives, where Mr. Z will dive deeply into New Japan Pro Wrestling and break it all down for you. Anyways, not a lot going on in the wrestling world other than All Out seems to be the high talking points of this weekend right now. Of course, I think it made everybody feel the way they feel, and it's very confusing. Whether you liked it or didn't like it, it is what it is. And now we start building to what will be Bad Blood at the beginning of October with WWE. And, of course, AEW's next big show will come up. A new name, or a trademark name in AEW was Shockwave, AEW Shockwave. We don't know if that's going to be a new pay-per-view or a new TV show. Tony Khan says 90% of all the information is going to come out in the next month about what the TV deals are and what's going on with that. So that's going to be very interesting to see what we learn.
Not Shockwave, not Shockmaster, right?
No, not Shockmaster. That's a whole different thing. It's going to be Shockwave. Tony Khan and AEW are going to send a shockwave through the wrestling world, says Tony Khan. We'll have to wait and see how that falls into place. As far as the Value of Wrestling, we are sending shockwaves through the system as we are growing and expanding, and we have big things coming. Hopefully within the next month, hopefully sooner, we will probably be opening our own Discord, and we may be opening our own Twitch channel. We may be dual streaming between YouTube and Twitch, and doing a Discord and a Patreon. We are slowly growing. And of course, we will be also doing a lot this month, as next Sunday, September 15th, we will be in Elk Grove, California. So there'll be no weekly roundup next Sunday, because me and Mr. Z will be in Elk Grove, California with Supreme Pro Wrestling at the Indoor Soccer World Arena, or what we call the SPW Arena, on Sunday, September 15th for SPW Supreme Pro Wrestling Plead the 5th. It's all going down on Sunday, September 15th there. So come out and join us for that fun time. We're going to be there, lots of new stuff. We're going to be giving out those stickers like there's no tomorrow this weekend, and you want to make sure you get there to get those beautiful stickers. We have a lot of things that are changing and growing, and we can't wait to share it all with y'all. It's going to be a fun time at SPW's Plead the 5th in Elk Grove, California. Doors open at 5, doors open at
4:30.
Yes, so doors open at 4:30. First bell is at 5 p.m. And the scheduled matches for that night so far are going to be Jekyll's and Marcos Lewis teaming up to take on the Appeal. We also have Goldmine defending the SPW Championship against Dante Daring. Goldmine is going to be in action. And then Jack Tracy is going to defend the Supreme Pro Wrestling Extreme Championship, which we saw at SPW Cruising for a Bruising on August 31st at the California Automobile Museum in Sacramento. Beautiful place. Lots of beautiful cars there. Go check that out if you're ever in Sacramento or the Northern California area. But Jack Tracy is going to defend his Extreme Championship against Daniel Torch, who unfortunately lost his home in the recent fires. So they're also going to have a bake sale, and they're going to raise funds for the Torch himself. They're going to sell baked goods, and then for your donation of $5 or more at the intermission, you'll be able to get meet up with any SPW champion and take a picture with them and their belts for a donation of $5 or more. All donations, all proceeds will go to Daniel Chorch. And I'm going to talk to Scoop and see if we can't donate $20 and get a shout out and a chop with Mr. Z. If we can get maybe it'll be Daniel Chorch, maybe it'll be Sir Samurai, maybe somebody we can get there.
No, let's do Okay, if we're gonna do it, we'll do it for Torchy.
Okay,
we'll do it. If we can let it happen, Torchy, it's all you, brother.
So if everybody will agree, hopefully we can get a moment at the intermission or some point where we can donate, we'll say $20 to Daniel Chorch if he'll chop Mr. Z, and we can get a brief shout out on the channel from Daniel Chorch. We'll donate that money.
Yes.
We're hoping to do interviews this time, so if any of the SPW stars are out there and want to do an interview this weekend or this Sunday with us, please be ready for that. Or always reach out to us here at the Value Wrestling at valuewrestling@gmail.com. We're going to get real close to being able to do online interviews and other things. And speaking of interviews, our big one should be coming up at the end of the month, September 28th. Lodi Comic Con's going down, and we're going to sit down and finally have the long-awaited interview with one A.J. Kirsch. Yeah, we're going to get to sit down and talk to that man himself. He's coming home from Burning Man, so I know he had to find a exciting time out there in the Nevada high desert celebrating Burning Man. So we're going to see A.J. Kirsch on September 28th at Lodi Comic Con in Lodi, California. We're going to be there. A.J. Kirsch is going to be there. MVP and Shelton Benjamin is going to be there. The Hurt Syndicate. Could Bobby Lashley show up? We'll have to wait and see. But we know they're going to be around in the area. And SPW action will be taking place at Lodi Comic Con, from what I understand. They will be there with the ring, much like they were at Stockton Con. They're going to be at Lodi Comic Con doing their thing. And that is going to be a great, great time coming up towards the end of the month. So next weekend, September
I was gonna ask real quick.
Supreme Pro Wrestling, lead the 5th. Go ahead, Mr. Z.
We just talked about if you donate $5, you get a photo with the current champion
and the title.
Who wouldn't want to take a picture with and the title? Who wouldn't want to take a picture with Olamang? That man has been a dominant SPW champion. You heard Scoop talk about it on the Scoop.
Yes,
I mean, fans, please come out and have a great time.
Ladies and gentlemen, you need to come out if you're in the Northern California area, the Bay Area, if you're in the Reno area, if you're anywhere within driving distance. Hell, if you know it's coming up on Sunday, let's make a weekend of it. Come down, stay tonight, come out to Elk Grove, come out to the indoor soccer arena, the SPW arena, as we proclaimed it, as we dubbed it, and come see some great independent wrestling action in California, where they're setting the world on fire. SPW really setting its standard. They've got a lot going out, and if you have the dreams or desires to be a professional wrestler, you can go to Supreme Pro Wrestling on their Facebook page. You can click the link in the description below, and you can go down there and reach out to them. If you want to become a professional wrestler, a ring announcer, a referee, or even a manager, and I don't know, Marty, there's a little chatter that maybe Marty is going to do something. We're going to have to see. We're going to have to introduce Marty Richards to the SPW group, maybe Scoop, and see if there's a future there. But that's all in talks. But if any of that interests you, go to Supreme Pro Wrestling's Facebook page, reach out to them, type a message to them, say, hey, I want this. Because they are training the future wrestling stars of tomorrow, today, tomorrow, and the future. They're training referees, ring announcers. Doesn't matter how old you are. If you have a dream, make your dreams work for you. I forget what the Brian Daniels said. If you have a dream and you dream it, make your dreams work for you, and your dreams will come true, blah, blah, blah. I don't know how that storyline goes anymore. But if you really want to take a chance, if you want to take an opportunity, Supreme Pro Wrestling is a place here in Northern California that's going to offer you that opportunity. So you can reach out to them to find out all the details. I don't know all the details on that. Maybe we need to get some more details on how all that works. But check out Supreme Pro Wrestling. Yes. You can be involved. Hey, you can work your way up where you're on one of these shows that Value Wrestling's covering. So who knows? Anything's possible. If you have a dream, dream big and go dream yourself into it. But Supreme Pro Wrestling, Sunday, September 15th, Supreme Pro Wrestling's arena there, the indoor soccer arena. Lead the 5th coming up, then Lodi Comic Con, and then October, of course, WWE will be bringing us Bad Blood, and then we will be doing another event with SPW in October. as far as we know right now. Every third Sunday of a month, they're at the Indoor Soccer Arena in Elk Grove, California, the SPW Arena, doing a live show. So we know that's going down. Realm of Warriors Championship Wrestling, we are still working with them. Unfortunately, their show got postponed from, I believe, October 20th to now, November 2nd. So we'll keep you updated as we move closer to that. And as those things come together. But yeah, come out for Supreme Pro Wrestling. I mean, it's a fun time. It's a great time. The fans there are lovely. They are great people. They welcomed us with warm arms, and they're going to welcome you into the family too. You can make this a monthly ritual. You can join SPW and be out there every month in Elk Grove, every third Sunday of the month. I mean, you can mark that on your calendars. You can set that date. Tickets, I believe, are still $20, so it's not a bad price. You can go to Supreme Pro Wrestling on Facebook. You can go to eventbrite.com. You can get your tickets. Tickets are on sale. So we are excited to see that going down.
I mean, like you said, let's make it a family gathering, folks. Like, let's get back to the days of old where people were going to the local shows every month and enjoying themselves.
Yes, this is what wrestling's all about, is enjoying the time and being there and celebrating wrestling with other wrestling fans and having fun. And you never know who's going to be there. We've seen, one of the original Gangstas in August.
Yes.
He was there.
Yes. Well, man, Mustafa Saeed. You can't go wrong without seeing him at least once.
And some big names have come through SPW. Mike Hayashi has been there. Jeff Cobb has been through there. Shotzi.
Yes. Thunder Rosa.
Johnny TV.
Johnny Bloodsport. Johnny Nitro. Johnny TV. Whatever you want to call him. Timothy Thatcher. He came through there. I mean, the list is endless. Going through there.
There's a deep history with Supreme Pro Wrestling and the world of wrestling and the future. You never know who's going to show up, who might be there. It's always a great time to come out and check it out. Anybody could be there.
Oh yeah.
But the bottom line, even if nobody shows up, you're going to get to see some great action, some great in-ring work by this talented roster of superstars that are there in SPW working and doing everything they can to bring you the very best in wrestling action. Always entertaining. We've had fun at all the events we've been at, whether it be Lemonade, whether it be Cruising for a Bruising, or this coming up, Plead the Fifth, or even at Stockton Con where they were giving out shows, out there in the back lot. It was a fun time.
Who wouldn't want to enjoy the action that ends up damn near in your lap?
Yes,
if you've seen it on the last show we did.
This is an interaction. This is an interactive show. These stars are going to come out and high five. Yes. These stars are going to come out and let you kind of join in the fun and the moments. You never know what it's going to expect. We've seen a lot of interaction between some of these wrestlers and the wrestling fans.
Yes.
So, you just never know what you're going to get in a Supreme Pro Wrestling show, and it's a fun time in the old town every time.
Oh yeah.
Anyways,
long weekend coming, folks.
Yes, well, it's always the work. We're going to be unveiling our new banner this weekend, so if you're out there, you're going to get to see the Value Wrestling banner. First time it's going to be out. Something new we've added to everything. That's going to be fun and exciting, along with many other.
The hooks came in.
Okay, we've got the hook, so everything should be good and pretty. We got some other things coming in later this week to make this all work out. And it's going to be an overall fun time. But ladies and gentlemen, we've been here. We've talked about it. We appreciate you for stopping by on your Sunday evening to join us with Value Wrestling with our podcast where we talk about everything wrestling. Of course, the big news was really the fallout of AEW All Out.
Yeah, my sister stopped in, man. Like, I'm enjoying. I'm happy she came by. That just came up. I was like, oh, sorry. She just hit my phone up. She was like, "You see me in there?" I'm like, "Yeah, we saw you." We appreciate you coming by.
What's up? Oh, did you? Okay, I've got a cat in my lap, so yes.
Yeah, I think the cat said it's time to go.
Yep, I think she's trying to say that it's enough, and it's time to move on for now. But we'll be back tomorrow night with our Monday Night Raw post-show review. We'll break down everything on Monday Night Raw. Mr. Clark will probably not be back with us for a while.
Yep.
So we wish him the best and hope he recovers speedily so he can be back into all of this so we can bring you your favorite part of the weekly roundup. We all know you love your Clark report, an up-to-the-minute news breaking special.
Oh, yeah, the fans love it.
And I know Mr. Clark will be here, love to be here tomorrow night, but he probably won't be with us. But his boy, Bret the Hitman Hart's going to be on the show, so he'll get to enjoy that. But we'll be here to talk about that. We'll be back Friday to cover SmackDown. And we'll have all the stuff in between, whether it's the New Japan Pro Wrestling Rebound podcast or whether it's another weekly rant with the big time. Anything's possible. And, of course, every day we have this date in wrestling history. We're on the march to 365. We're getting closer and closer to wrapping that 1 year up. And then we're going to move on to something different and new and refreshing. It's going to be a fun time in the old town, as always. On the big time, along with Mr. Z, we thank you for being here. We thank you for tuning in. Oh, and lastly, but not least, our buddies for the Value Wrestling. If you're looking for Funko Pops, as you see the mini behind me, check out the Goldmine on Facebook. Check the link in the description below. You can go to Goldmine on Facebook, sign up for the Goldmine Facebook group, where they have all type of Funkos. It doesn't have to just be wrestling. If you're looking for hard-to-find Funko Pops, ones to complete your collection, or if you're just looking for nostalgia or different things, if you're a Funko Pop collector, they're going to find those hard-to-find ones, those ones that you're not going to be able to get in the stores or online. And they're going to give you a great price, and they're going to work it out with you. They're going to ship anywhere, so it's a great time. So go check out the Goldmine on Facebook. We got to give them their weekly shout-out for everything. And we will be here. Mr. Z is going to be a busy man as he covers New Japan Pro Wrestling. Then he's going to have to try and fit in Raw and a Niners game and do this show tomorrow. So, he's got a stacked deck against him.
Yes, I do.
Especially since the Niners are opening their first game on Monday night against the New York Jets and the returning Aaron Rodgers. Will he live up to the hype, or will he get bombarded? Can Brock Purdy show that he really is a legit quarterback in the NFL?
I can hope.
Lots to talk about there, lots to get excited about and all that. But we're going to be back tomorrow night with Monday Night Raw post-show review. We're going to cover all that for you right here on the Value Wrestling. So, have a good night, and we'll see you on the next one.
Good night, folks.
This is the value of wrestling.
I've got an itch I can't scratch, I'm missing a piece that completes a whole part of me, an open wound scar to see. Everybody come here, gather round, welcome to the freak show, the best in